we go.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are across the world. We say hello to you. My name is Eli from House of Transformation here in Karen. And I just want to do a quick recap of the sermon on Sunday. Last Sunday we started out on when we pray. Jesus' instruction on prayer. And we covered just 3 chapters in the book of Matthew, chapter number 6. We did verse number 5, we did verse number 6, and verse number 7. But we started out by looking at James chapter number 5, verse 16, where James says, part B of that verse, it says, the effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. And we looked at it and we said that the righteous man that James is talking about is not somebody that is too far away from where we are. And we recognize the fact that the book of James, the entire book of James, was written to a new Christian, a new church. This was a new church, people who had not grown in spirit, they had not developed in spirit. So actually here James is telling this new church that they are righteous and their prayer needs to avail much. So we asked then, who is this righteous man? And we looked at here in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter number 5, verse number 21, where it said that, for he has made him to be sin for us, who knew no sin, that we might be made the righteousness of God. That God took Jesus, that knew no sin, made him sin, so that you and me can be his righteousness. So when James is talking about this righteous man whose prayer should avail much, that James is talking about you and he's talking about me. Those of us that have believed Jesus Christ, we are that righteous person. You find that in the book of Romans chapter number 3 verse 22, it says, even the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Jesus Christ, unto all and upon all them that believe. This means that when you first believed, you exchanged your sinful baggage with the righteousness of Jesus Christ. So you become that righteous person. And the sin is what Jesus carried to the cross. So you don't carry that baggage anymore. That heavy baggage, heavy laden of sin is taken away, and now you become the righteousness of God. So when James is saying that the prayer of a righteous man availeth much, he's talking about your prayer, Nancy, your prayer, Mary, your prayer, Eli, your prayer, Jacob, that your prayer should avail much. That's what he's talking about. So, but then, the availing of much, it means that our prayers must be effective, that there must be results every time we pray. Every time we pray, there has to be a result. Because guess what? You have exchanged your DNA from the human DNA that had sin, and now you have taken up the spiritual DNA of God. And just like in real life, where we walk, what we touch, what we eat, if we use a cup, we leave our DNA on those things. In the same way, wherever we go, we must leave the DNA of God. That there has to be something that will show that a child of God came through this way. There has to be a DNA. If they had to dust and do the DNA test, then there has to be something that will show a child of God went through that place. And now Jesus is talking to these children, to his children in Matthew chapter number 6. He's talking to these children and he's saying, when you pray. He didn't say if you pray. He says, when you pray. What does that mean to you and me? It means that you and me are expected to be praying. It is not an if, it is a when. So when is, if I'm praying in the morning, when I pray in the morning, when I pray in the noontime, when I pray in the evening, when I pray in the middle of the night, when you pray, we are expected to do that. So it says here, verse number 6, that of Matthew, sorry, not number 6, number 5 of Matthew. And when you pray, you should not be as the hypocrites, And we said hypocrites, that term hypocrite was originally a reference to actors. That they would act using masks, they put a mask, they act, and then they put another mask and act, and they'll be called hypocrites. Maybe the best actor will be called the best hypocrite. Or somebody will commend you and say, oh, you are the best hypocrite in Kenya that we know. So it was an actor. So Jesus is saying, do not be like those actors, those hypocrites. Don't be like them to put up a show when you pray. Because these people are doing it to put up a show. It goes on to say, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues. They love the gathering of saints. They love where there are crowds so that they can pray in this place and be seen. And then he goes on to say, and in the corners of the streets, where there are many people, where there are crowds, that's where they want to pray, raise up their hands and pray. And then he went on to say, that they may be seen of men. Their intention of putting up a show, their intention of acting is so that men can see them. But Jesus is saying, don't be like those men. Don't be like them. When you pray, you're praying not to be seen, but you're praying to have communion with your Father in heaven. So don't be like them. Jesus was so mad about these hypocrites that in the entire 12 verses of the book of Matthew, chapter number 23, he was talking about these guys. And he kept saying, woe unto you. He kept saying, woe unto you. And he kept hitting them blow after blow. He was hitting these hypocrites and telling them, you are like those graves in Jerusalem, which are white on the top, but inside are rotten bones. Woe unto you. Woe unto you. And Jesus was facing them face to face because they were seated right in front of him, the Pharisees, when he was saying that. He didn't like those hypocrites. When we pray like the hypocrites, we do not have a relationship with the Father in heaven. But we are putting up a show for those around us to see the show. And then he goes on to say, but when you pray, go into your closet, and when you are in the closet, shut your door. Pray to your Father which is in secret. Your closet is not just in your bedroom. Your closet could be even in a crowd, but you choose to go in and you pray to talk to your Father in heaven. Your closet could be in public transport. You are in that public vehicle, that public plane, that train, and you choose to go secretly to your Father in heaven and you talk to your Father. He sees in secret and he rewards in public. And then verse number 7 said, but when you pray, use not vain repetitions. Don't just go around babbling things. Don't just use big terms so that people around you can know that you are educated. God does not need to know that you're educated. He doesn't need that. He's not interested in your degree to know how far educated you are. He's not interested in how much English you speak. He's not interested in how much Swahili you speak. God is interested in communion with you. So Jesus is saying, do not use those vain repetitions, those babbling words, do not use them. And then, as the heathens do, for they think that they shall be heard from their much speaking, he says. They believe if they speak too much, then God can hear them. But Jesus is saying, don't do that. We shouldn't be praying like them. Now, Jesus talks about this going into secret, but this did not just start with the new covenant, dear friends. It is something that was practiced from the old covenant still. In the book of James, not James, but here in 2 Kings chapter number 4:33, you find that he went in therefore and shut the door upon them and prayed unto the Lord. He went in and shut the door. So every time we want to pray, remember to go into your secret place. Be it in public, go in secret. Be it wherever it is, go into your secret place and talk to your Father. That is how we pray. And if we start praying like that, we expect to get effective prayers, to get our prayers answered. We don't pray like the hypocrites. We don't pray like the publicans who use the vain words. That is the beginning of our lesson on when we pray. We were just looking at the things we should not do. We will continue with this lesson, so stay tuned. God bless you.